So, for those of you that don't know, for a living, I am a stockbroker. That's what I do. And I get asked all the time, what should I invest in? What's going up? What should I do? What's your advice? And I'm just like, I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't take that liability of giving someone wrong advice. But one thing I would never do is tell someone to invest in something that I knew was going to crash. Something I knew was just like going to tank. If anything, I'd probably stop them and be like, hey, you might want to double think that. Well, Jesus has done the same thing. He says, make heavenly deposits. Good morning and welcome to the 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. The point, to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus said comes from Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 24. Starting in verse 19, he says, don't store up treasures here on the earth, where moths eat them and rust destroys them, where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven, where moths and rust cannot destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. Your eye is like a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is healthy. Your whole body is filled with light. But when your eye is unhealthy, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. And then last, in verse 24, he says, no one can serve two masters, for you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money. So, where's your treasure? Jesus said to make heavenly deposits. Right before this, Jesus was teaching about heart issues with prayer and fasting. Right after this, he teaches about worry also being a heart issue. But here he talks about where our treasure is, where our heart will be too. So Jesus is talking all about the heart through this series of messages, I guess, if you want to call it that. And he says, make heavenly deposits. Put your heart into where life's treasure really is, in eternity. Not in things temporary, not in things that aren't going to follow you. I hear people say all the time, it's like, you can't take it with you when you're dead. And that's the truth. You can't take it with you. It's temporary. You've heard the saying, probably, don't make a permanent decision based on temporary emotions. But, Jesus' perspective is even better. He said, don't hold on to things that are going to be temporary. Everything in this life is temporary, but eternity is forever. Like, I know that sounds simple, but it's the truth of it. Eternity is going to be forever. So that's where we should be storing up everything that we can, treasure-wise. It says, yet we spend more time, energy, worry, and emotion on temporary things. We worry so much about these things that are fleeting. The Bible says this life is but a vapor, here one moment and gone the next. So how can we tell if our heart is right? How can we tell where our value is? What are we worried about the most? Well, one thing that is definitely a litmus test, if you want to call it that, is generosity. Let's read verse 22 through 23 again. It says, the lamp of your body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? So you might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with eyesight? Jesus said make heavenly deposits. What does that have to do with eyesight? Why would Jesus talk about this right in the middle of his teaching on treasure? Well, this is a Hebraic idiom that was used to describe a person's outlook towards others. A person with a good eye was a person that looked at others with compassion and had a generous spirit and gave to others as needed. The person with the evil eye, that dark eye, is one who is, stingy, greedy, like selfish, only worried about himself. In Proverbs chapter 22, verse 9, it says, a generous person will be blessed, for he gives some of his food to the poor. The literal Hebrew here says the good eye, heavenly deposits are all about generosity. Again, that good eye, like that desire that when you see people, you want good for them, that you want the best for other people. Not that bad eye of what the Hebrew's saying there, of that stinginess and selfishness. Me. I'm only worried about me. We make heavenly deposits when our stuff isn't all about us, but when we're all about generosity, when we're all about other people, we're all about spending our time, our monetary things, our possessions, not even being like stingy with those, because it's if you're holding on to anything too tightly, then you're caring too much about it. And I mean, if you're not willing to let something go to help somebody else, then I mean, that's something you might want to check on yourself. Hey, do I care more about this than having that good eye, having that compassion towards people? But Jesus said, make heavenly deposits. So how can you put that into action today? What can you do to show people that they matter? How can you have that good eye towards people? So thank you so much for listening. If you don't mind liking, commenting, and sharing, we really appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest the Jesus way. And remember, we always end everything by saying to follow Jesus today and love first. You guys have a great day.